Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing The Devil's Candy, and this is a new film by Sean Byrnes, who'd previously done The Loved Ones, which is a little Australian horror film. This is his second feature as director, writer and director. Stars Ethan Embry, Sherry Appleby and Pruitt Taylor Vince, and is a story of Jesse, a struggling artist, and his young family, his wife Astrid and his daughter Zoe, they buy their own home, something they've wanted to do for quite a while, and they're able to purchase this place due to the price being dropped due to mysterious dark past of the house. And everything's fine as they sort of settle into this new home, and then strange things start to happen. Jesse starts to hear voices, sort of strange voices, and which leads him to begin to paint these really dark and satanic sort of twisted pictures that he doesn't remember painting because he's just sort of lost within it, and that's sort of telling him what to paint and what to do. And it sort of starts to affect him and the life of his family. And then we're introduced to Ray, played by Pruitt, who is a disturbed individual who may or may not be a serial killer. And it looks at his interaction with the family and his obsession that begins with the daughter Zoe, that he's driven by voices of the devil as well. And strange things start to happen and twisted elements come into it to ultimately pretty full-on ending horror-wise. But look, this film is great. And I really enjoyed it. I liked the look of it, the feel of it. I loved all the heavy metal music as the soundtrack, which was really great and added a lot to it. It was beautifully shot. The acting was solid. And the visuals and ideas within that were fantastic, I thought. Very original and unique. And I was blown away by Embry. I didn't even realise it was him when it first began. And I'd known him from films like Can't Hardly Wait and Empire Records. For him to come from that to do this is quite extraordinary. Not only is he tattooed up with long hair and a beard, and playing sort of a heavy metal sort of punk sort of character, he's also ripped and with the long hair, and you can't even tell it's him. And his performance is fantastic in it. He does a really great job of selling this struggling artist who becomes obsessed. It's really fascinating to watch. Sherry Appleby, who plays his wife, who's from Roswell, she's really good in it as well, and the young girl who's playing his daughter Zoe is really great. And Pruitt is creepy and disturbing as usual, doing his old eye trick where his eyes flitter side to side, which sort of adds to the creepiness of the character. He's really made a name for himself doing those sort of things. But yeah, Embry was really impressive in it, and I didn't know he had that in him as an actor, and I was really impressed with what he did with it. The soundtrack is really full on. There's Metallica in there, there's a variety of really heavy metal sort of songs which add to it. There's a lot of different colours, there's a lot of reds. So with Pruitt's character, he's in a red jumpsuit, everything's referenced to red as if being the devil. What I really liked was this was a simple, independent sort of horror film, but it was so effective and sucked you into the world. You would just want to know what was happening. It was dark and disturbing in parts, but that added to it, I think. And the greatest thing that it did, which a lot of horrors don't do these days, is it focused on the family. So we got to see the family, we got to see them interact with each other, and you started to, by doing that, you started to care for the family. You really wanted to be cared what happened to him and what may happen to him in the film, which sort of cements you really in it, caring about these characters. Where a lot of slasher films these days, they just throw you these cliched, either high school kids or whatever like that, and they sort of start to get killed and you don't really care about them. Where this is taking more of a leaf from the book of, say, Ouija, Origin of Evil, which sort of spent a lot of time, and movies like The Conjuring and stuff, which spend a lot of time with the families and the characters, that you really care for them, which I thought was really great. And it's so unique and different, this horror film. I'm so thankful and happy there are films out there like this. Much like The Void, it was interesting, uniquely done. The story was a bit different and engaging and fun, and also disturbing in parts. And it may not be for everyone, this film, but I quite thoroughly enjoyed it and would like to see more from Sean Byrnes, to see what else he can do, because his horror is really, really great and it's refreshing and fun. And there's a lot of symbolism in it too, with colours and this particular art studio he goes to, which I read was the devil, known as the devil. There was this sort of dark angel, and that was his sort of character. So it's kind of interesting like that. There's a lot of metaphors and a lot of symbolism in it, which relates back to the devil and the darkness and stuff like that. This is great TV excerpts where there's interviews with priests and stuff, like documentaries about the devil, and it sort of sums up what's happening in the film, what it's all about. And there is violence in the film, but they don't show it all, which I think is really great. You don't need to be so gory with things like other films are and still get the same effect with it. There was just a really unsettling and freakiness about this film that really sucked me in. I don't know why I like that sort of darkness, or there's something about that to me. Okay, final verdict. Look, this isn't a film for everyone. Horror fans will probably thoroughly enjoy this because it is different and unique and interesting, and it sucks you into the world and you really care about the characters and what's happening. So I really thoroughly enjoyed that aspect to it. And if you like something that's a little dark and twisted and a bit different, you'll really thoroughly enjoy this. Look, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I think it's a very solid film. I'm impressed with it, and I'd like to see more from the director and the actors doing something different. Anyway, that's all from me today. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, please subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.